Hello, good morning students. Today we are going to discuss the topic Census of Engineering Ethics from the Unit 1 Engineering Ethics. Let us start with the interesting story of a carpenter. The story it's about a carpenter who was an elderly person whom decided to retire from the house building business. He was eager to enjoy his leisure life with his family. So his employer, sorry to see him go, he asked for one final favor from him to build just one more house. The carpenter agreed, but with his heart no longer in his work. He compromised on quality, using inferior materials and shoddy workmanship. So, thus the carpenter has not put much effort since he wanted to complete the task. So, just for the namesake, he has done it. So, he didn't put any creativity into that. So, that's the story it explained. The story of a carpenter, the climax. In a surprising twist, the contractor revealed the house was the carpenter's retirement gift. Overcome with the shame, the carpenter realized he had built his own home with subpar standards. So this is the moral. He was very greedy to achieve the gift, but finally the gift becomes his gift. So the experience taught a valuable lesson. The importance of dedication and quality regardless of the circumstances. If only he had known he was building his own house, he would have not done this mistake, isn't it? He would have been highlighting the significance of personal investment and pride in one's own work. So, why do we learn engineering ethics? Here, the objectives of the course, professional ethics and human values. The main objectives are to understand the moral values that ought to guide the engineering profession, to resolve the moral issues in the profession, also to justify the moral judgment concerning the profession. It is intended to develop a set of beliefs, attitudes, and habits that engineers should display concerning morality. So, what are morals and what are ethics? Morals are the basics of ethics. Morals always referring mainly to guiding principles, and ethics refer to specific rules and actions or behaviors. So on other side, ethics are distinct from morals in that they are much more practical. A moral percept is an idea of opinion that's driven by a desire to be good. An ethical code is a set of rules that defines allowable actions on a correct behavior. So that's why in real life people used to perceive the moral and they used to follow certain ethical rules as their habit. So some of the examples are given for the moral. If you want to be good to the people, if you want to be good for everybody or everyone, that is one of the moral example. And if you are speaking only the truth all the times, all situation at any cost, that is one example. And if you're trying to going against what you know is wrong, so that is one of the example. So having chastity and avoids cheating or being a nice human being, it's all the qualities for moral examples. So the ethics examples, that's slightly different from moral examples. If you respect the people, respecting the right of the others, and if you keep your promise followed, and if you avoid unnecessary arguments or problems with others, and if you are cheating with avoid cheating with dishonesty, and always you are showing the tendency to show your gratitude towards the people and encourage them to work for it, and you have the habit of respecting others and ourselves. So these are the good examples of ethics. So when you see the Venn diagram of these two things like ethics and morals, which are the intersection is highlighted, which is right and wrong conduct. So external rules may vary between the environments, morals, personal principles, it's rarely change. So moral is subject to change, but ethics are depends on the situation, it may get changes. So some of the moral cognitive skills, if you see that the following skills, or it talks about intellectual capability or thinking clearly for improving their professional ethics. One is moral awareness. So you should understand what is the exact problem in engineering. That is one of the moral awareness. The moral reason, you have to understand the comprehensive nature of the problem, and you have to assess with the different views and multidimensional views, different perspectives, different aspects. And the third one, moral coherence. You're bringing your own viewpoints which is consistently you are noting down, and based on the facts you are preparing all these viewpoints. On moral imagination, it is searching beyond obvious the alternative responses to issues and being receptive to creative solutions. It is like a presence of mind, or you are in always a proactive thing person. That's what moral imagination. And when it comes to moral communication, you have to express and support one's views to others. So other moral cognitive skills are moral reasonableness, which is the process of willing and able to be morally responsible. Moral concern, which is respect for persons, which means showing concern for well-being of the other people besides oneself. Moral tolerance, you're respecting for ethnic and religious differences, cultural differences, and accepting the reasonable differences in moral perspective. And moral hope, believing in using rational dialogue for resolving moral conflicts. And moral integrity, finally, which is integrating one's professional life with the personal convictions. So here the conclusion, it explains though morals are not imposed, they can be understood as a preaching of our inner self. Depending on a few factors, our mind filters things as good or bad. So these ideas which helps frame our personality so that we can distinguish between what is right and wrong. So moral is a code of conduct that the people develop over time and set for yourself to follow. Just like morals are always defined by one's own personality. Morals can be changed according to one's beliefs as they are completely dependent on one's perception towards ethical views. Thank you. Let us continue the next class.